welcome by the first episode of Orinda Talks Fantasy and Sci-Fi. So this is a new channel I made, and I just have a great love for fantasy and sci-fi. It doesn't matter if it is books, series, movies, games, or whatever. Everything is okay with it, and well, just to be saying, I'm a big geek, so I love to talk about these subjects with people, and who knows what comes around, and maybe there are things I don't know, or you don't know, or at least I want you to join us with this conversation, and I hope you will be enjoying this episode and to listening to it. This first episode is about Star Trek Online, and for most Trekkies knows that this is a big online game. It's a development from small to a big game in how many years?
11. 11 years.
The person you are hearing is Spoon 2006. That's his ad handle on the game. And his name is Simon. For real. He's a veteran player, so I will talking with him about what's the game about. I play it too, thanks to him. And but he has more knowledge of it than I do. So I don't know if you guys are gonna have seen some of my Star Trek Online videos coming around Facebook or Twitter, because sometimes there are a lot of little stories that it's like a little video of the game itself, and but those are very nice. It's really about a very great storylines. You got timelines like the Klingon timeline. You got the Cardassian timeline. Also of course, the Vulcan and the Romulans. And of course, they integrated the Discovery timeline. But there are those episodes that you can play, and there's a real story arc in it, and that's one of the things I really like. So Simon, how long have you been playing Star Trek Online?
Since launch.
So we will be in 2000.
11 years, so it's 2010.
And so what do you like about this game this much that you are still playing it?
It's one of the few Star Trek games that are out there that's any good, to be honest. You've obviously got timelines, which you play. You've got Fleet Command. And there's other games. Elite Force, I can't remember the others now. British Commander, classic. But they're all outdated. They're still good for the time, but a lot of them are now outdated. At least Star Trek Online is still running. It's still being updated. They've integrated a huge amount of stuff, including some Picard stuff now, I believe.
That sounds interesting. So it is they are keeping up to date with the series
Yeah,
and the
they've got
movies.
Riker's ship in there now as well, the Inquiry class.
Okay, nice. And so tell me about Star Trek Online. Is there what can people expect it from it?
The difference between Star Trek Online and, say, other games, you have both space and ground. As with Bridge Commander, it was only space. You were on the bridge, but it was still space. As for, I'm trying to think of other games now, which
Timelines.
Timelines literally is just an interface, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Same with Fleet Command. Elite Force was just ground. So essentially, you've got the best of both worlds with Star Trek Online. It's a strategy. You get a ship, different slots, different weapons, and you piece essentially something together.
Yeah, what I do like about it is that you can make different kind of tunes. You got different kind of uniforms, etc. And you also can make your own storyline for your tune. And like it said, it is an RPG game, and it depends on what race you having as a tune. It has different kind of storylines, and then you have, of course, the story timeline for like what I said, Discovery or Kardashians or Klingons or whatever, and it's you follow a storyline, but you also have different, and we call that TFOs. For example, you can do, instead of the episodes, you can also do just missions outside, and you got endeavors to do, and you can do if you are in a fleet, it's preferable that you are helping the fleet with donating stuff, etc., etc. So it is very diverse.
Well, that's the thing. Every species, because I was watching a podcast from Ambassador Kale a couple of weeks ago.
He is Ambassador Kale is also one of the developers of Star Trek Online. By the way, we have met him on Destination Star Trek 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
And he's as wacko as everyone thinks he is.
Yeah, well, he's just nice. And
was it purple hair he had this time?
I've got green. He had green hair, but okay.
But going back to it, as Ambassador Kale had said, every single species has their own unique dialogue and traits. So as one of our friends on the Discord server was saying, he plays a Gorn. Now, he went on Nimbus, and there's a section there that involves Gorn. And they recognise him as a Gorn, so it's...
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, it's a very diverse game, and even the veteran players don't know everything because it is changing all the time, and etc. Thank God there are people who are doing YouTube videos how to build a ship, for example, or a character on ground. And that is very, very good to know, because, like I said, even a veteran player doesn't know everything. And I think that it's also not doable, because it's changing all the time, and you learn more and more every time. And there are a lot of players out there that are using Discord, and if I speak for ourselves, is that we have a quite large Discord server with all the fleets in, and all the we have an Armada Discord server that is like I said, very nice. People can come on, text or voice to ask things or help things. In my case, because I need some assistance with my tunes, how to build it, as well on ground and in space, I always can ask one of the older veteran guys who are playing for a long time to help me with building up the tunes. And what I do really like is, like I said, the videos and timelines, but also the timelines and episodes, but also the conversations of very well-known characters from the Star Trek universe, like General Martok, Quark, Odo, all those actors who are having their voice and their character immortalized now because they are working in the game and have those dialogues recorded. That's just awesome. And for example, I don't know if you remember Sela. Sela in the game is very annoying, especially when when she is talking and having a dialogue with someone. And sometimes I just make a sport of it to, when she's talking and having a dialogue or annoys me again, I talk back to her. The only thing and pity thing is that maybe one of the developers will be listening at this, and well, it's a pity that we can't kill her. That would be awesome, because I think a lot of people will want to kill her. Or, for example, Quark. Of course, Quark, as annoying as a Ferengi can be. So, who's also in, Worf is in there, Q.
Q is only really in for the winter events, and also, if memory serves me right, it's for the anniversary events. Not any time Q's in.
Yeah, but I think he got dialogues as well.
Only in the winter and events.
Let me see, there is the last episode of Jo'ula's Discovery, and that is a Discovery timeline. The last part of it, when they have those trials and they met Abraham Lincoln and they are going back into space to fight the Borg Queen, there is a scene what I really, really love. I have it on my Facebook, I have it on my Twitter. It's the piece that when you think you are alone, the cavalry will be arriving with first Captain Thrawn, but also with who's coming? Captain Archer with the NX 01, Captain Picard with the Enterprise D, Kirk with the Enterprise C, the Defiant with Cisco, Janeway with
We had Kirk with the Kelvin timeline come in, the refit, also I believe it was also the TOS ship.
Yeah, I do like the temporal timelines and TOS timeline as well, but it is a very, very I even have it on my YouTube, so I will put a link on where you can watch that scene. It's so... The first time I saw it, oh god, I was screaming and I was laughing and wow, that was so good. That's what was the thing that made me cry of happiness, because those are what Star Trek is. And we all know the series, we all know the characters, but having them in game like participate like this, it was just awesome. And in that whole battle, you hear them talk and give orders, and also the discovery is there with well, let us say Captain Killy. She is being aware. Myra Wiseman has a very great involvement with the Discovery timelines. Also do Sonequa Queen Martin, because of course she has to go for Burnham, who also has a big role in it, is Jerry Ryan as Seven of Nine. You got two different kinds of Seven of Nines. You got the Seven of Nine of in Voyager, and you also have Seven of Nine as in a Furnace Ranger. I do hope one thing that they are putting more characters in of Picard. And well, Discovery is, they have done a lot, because also Stamets is on, what I really like. But there is also like Tuvok. Tuvok is a major role.
It's Tuvok, Martok. Worf, not so much anymore. I don't think he reprised his role as Worf in this game for a long time.
Yeah, but he still has a big part in the Klingon section, and
It's quite old. It's a few years old now, though.
I know, but still, I mean, there are like, for example, Cisco and Picard. They don't want to lend their voice for games like this. Although my hope is that Jean-Luc Picard, or Patrick Stewart, will do this for Stowe, because it will immortalize him as well in a way. And I'm meaning immortalize, yeah. Star Trek is a broad franchise, and that's what I like about it too. But also, there is a certain vibe.
There is. He did do a very short piece of dialogue in Bridge Commander.
And he did in Timelines as well. But in one way, Star Trek Online is so different than all those other games. And that is also what I like about it. And I think, and that was my experience, because this was the first RPG game I actually really played. And it still is very confusing sometimes for me. But I play it for about 2 years now, and I still have fun with it. I never thought I would have this much fun. So, is there something you'd like to say, something else about Star Trek Online?
Let's just say this: you can do certain things in it that it could class as beta canon. Well, you can have the Federation using disruptors instead of just canonic phases, as we would say. So You can fly absolutely any ship from any faction, which is a recent update. So you can do a massive amount of things that they just couldn't get away with on screen. But I mean, it's one of them. It's very complicated to get into. It's constantly changing, but I had a break from it a few years back, and the changes they made were like it was starting from fresh again. But now, thanks to a lot of people, that I'm back up to date with it, and I tell you what, you find a lot of good people on there.
Yeah, and that's what I want to say about Discord. But there are also other platforms that you can use, and except, of course, YouTube, there are a few people who are very, very consistent with their videos and explaining things and etc. to so you can teach it yourself as well. And yes, it's a very big game and you need to take time to get used to it, and of course it's one of those things you can spend money on it, but you can also not spend money on it, but you will and that's with every game, I guess, is how much you spend in it, like energy, time, money, whatever, how better gear you get, or how farther you can get with the game, or easier with the game.
I think it's like any game though. You can go up to the paywall, play the free content, you can get your free ships, as they say, like events and whatever, and that's good enough for advanced content. You won't have any issues. You can get through elite level content if you can pull it together, and by certain traits you don't have to just follow a build guide. Everything's very unique. But if you do choose to go the other side of that paywall and play to win, essentially, is how a lot of the gamers will put it, then the scope is endless for it. I'm not going to lie, I've probably spent hundreds on that game over many years of playing, and even now I will still throw the odd £20 or £30 at it just to go, oh, I want this trait, I want that trait, but it's worth it, it's fun.
Do you have an indication how many people are playing still at the moment?
No, I wouldn't know. I'd have to look on the Steam and the Arc and just see how many it is. There was something on a podcast on YouTube a few months back on just how many players there are. Active is going to be the issue.
Yeah. We both experienced that with our Fleets and Armada.
It's what they call a seasonal game. It'll become active when there's new content released. They'll play the content and then they'll go and take a break from it until they release more new content.
Well, I think the nice thing, like events like Destiny Star Trek, where we were going and the developers were there, and so we met them, but also they had a panel. And Mary Wiseman, who plays Tilly, was with it because she was promoting the Discovery timeline where she is working with, and it's very funny and very nice to see what what she is bringing in the game, and um, I don't know what you think about it. Um, how they can or developing it more for, because I got the feeling this is a game that is also made for fans but also made for gamers.
All I'm going to say is this, she's brilliant as Tilly, but the minute she goes into the Captain Killy role from Mirror Universe, oh my god, she is
Yeah,
so
for the
hilarious.
ones who playing Stowe will recognize that if you have done the Discovery timeline, I think that was not Ulas but the other one. Eventually, you are going to fight against Captain Killy.
I wasn't thinking of that particular one. The one where you go onto the bridge.
I know. But there is, like I said, there is a Discovery timeline with Joula, but there is also a timeline with only Captain Killy.
Brilliant.
And I love those storylines. It's like I said before. If you like stories, if you like the Star Trek series and episodes, especially Discovery, you need to play those timelines because it's a great timeline. Really, it is. And in another episode of my podcast, this podcast, I will go into details for. I will do a episode especially only for Discovery or a Pacific character, whatever. So there will be a lot of more Star Trek episodes than this one. Is there a tip you like to give of playing Stowe?
There's many tips.
Is there something you say, okay, if you are, because that's the point too. When you are starting a tune, you need to go through the tutorial, and the tutorial is also a very nice storyline.
Watch the tutorial carefully. Take the time to look on YouTube and do your research. If you can't find something, just use a very well-known search engine. And then and the answers you'll find out there. But the thing I will always say, and I've said this to Render, I've said this to many people over my years of helping people with the builds. What will work for someone else might not work for you, and because they're going to tailor it and fine-tune it to their play style. What you really need to do is find the basic build for you and then tailor it to suit your play style.
Yeah, I think that's what I am experiencing as well. I always leave the builds up to you, Simon, and I still am happy with that because, like I said, Stowe is a lot to take on. It's also very confusing sometimes, but okay. What I wanted to ask you, what I want to ask you is, if somebody is starting new, what is the best thing to do as a starter? Just watch. What we do is watching YouTube or finding yourself.
I would say start the tutorial. If you're starting to struggle with it, then fall back to YouTube and have a look and just see what other people are doing. They don't make it very clear, I'm not going to lie, on some of the tutorials. They are working on them. I know they've done work on Klingon, Jem'Hadar, the Fed side I think they're working on now as well, and really are improving the tutorials to make them as clear as they possibly can. You've got to think, if you're dying a lot quicker than what you should do, then you need to look at your skills, your traits. But typically, you'll find a lot of the content now is a lot easier to do. I think they did lower the bar on it, and they sorted the scaling out.
I will post some little videos of Star Trek Online in the contents, so in the description, so you can watch it. If you go to my YouTube, I will have a lot more about those videos. There's one thing I still want to do. We both have fleets. Simon's fleet calls the Discovery Explorers. It's a very veteran.
Level 85 fleet is maxed.
Is maxed out. So you will find veteran players there who will help you with your build or with your questions, etc., etc. There's also a server for Discovery Explorers. Do you have one, or is it on the Armada?
It's just the Armada server.
Okay. The Armada server is about calls the Phantom server, and you can find all the fleets under there. But also, like I said, there are a lot of people who you can ask your question of. My fleet is a new fleet. I leveled up last week to level 24. The reason I started my own fleet is that I wanted to bring something different in Star Trek. And there was a lot of drama about what I thought, okay, I don't want this anymore, so I left it in a way, but also not. But what I like to do with my new fleet is just having fun. It's the game. Don't go for an elite or DPS thingy. And it's just about the game and having fun and making friends. And I think a lot of people who are just working on prestigious or whatever in the way of not so having fun and calling people out, I think that is very, very not done in my way, in my vision. For now, I will. Yeah.
I was just about to say, get that in any game anyway. Doesn't matter what game it is, you always get the elitists. So, none of us accept that in any of our fleets.
No, and I think that's why the Armada is in that way big, and there are still fleets who wants to join the Armada. So, yeah, why not? If you like to take a look, let me know. I can give you a link, etc., etc., etc. By ending this episode and ending by every episode, I will give you the subject for the next episode. And my next episode will be going about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So if there are fans out who would like to talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, let me know. And you can join me live in an episode, or I will interview you in an episode. And that would be great. I'm also a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fan. About a few months ago, Simon and I watched all the Timeline series in Timeline. So that was fun. And we still, as a geek, we have a collection because we just love it. I will see you next time, hopefully. subscribe or follow my podcast if you like. And if you like to, or you have requests of me doing a episode about a subject that you like or has a great fandom. Oh, yeah. I forgot that, but okay. Next time. In every episode, I will ask the person who I interview what moves them to become a fan of this certain subject. I'm sure I will speak with Simon about Star Trek a lot more, and I will ask him that as well then. My next episode will be going about over Power Rangers, and I really love to talk with someone about it who is truly a fan. And well, let me know. Just message me, and we will see what we can do. So, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next time.